In this video, I'm going to talk about what you need to do in order to be prepared to take the IELTS preparation. IELTS Prep 101. Let me start. The first thing that you want to do is a little bit of homework, and it's not the traditional sense of homework. It is more about learning what to expect from the preparation. Right, let's start. The first thing that you want to consider is, why are you taking the test? Are you taking it because you need to study further at a university, or are you immigrating to a country that requires the IELTS examination? Remember that the IELTS examination is a test that helps to prove your proficiency in the English language. So many countries require a certain level of English in order to get a visa. The next thing is what test you need to take. There are two: the academic test or the general test, and depending on whether you're going to study at university or immigrating for a particular reason, you will be told which test you need to take. For example, if you're studying at university, you definitely need to take the academic test. But if you are taking it for immigration purposes, it depends on what you're going to be doing in the new country. The next is your band score. That is directly dependent on what you are going to need the IELTS for. A university might tell you that you need a band 7 in order to be accepted on a particular course, and an embassy might tell you that you need a band 8 in order to work in another country. So that's dependent on why you need to take the test, and that's why it's the most important question. Then your start level. The start level is important because it helps you to determine how long you are going to need to prepare before you take the test, and that falls into the time frame, and that's important. Some people need more than 4 weeks, some people need 12 weeks, others need a lot less, and others need a lot more, and it depends on that start level and the band score that you need to achieve. Consider engaging in the services of an IELTS teacher, professional English teacher that can help you on the path for the IELTS preparation as well, not only to help you with the actual preparation. The next thing is learning more about the test, and that's not just about what does the test entail, but the information about what to expect within each part of the test. So the first thing is, of course, the format, what to expect, the parts of the test, and the second is content, and that is within each part of the test, what type of questions are you going to have to deal with. You're going to also look at timing. How long do you have to answer each question? And how is the exam scored? This is something that is very often underestimated by IELTS students. You need to know how your test is going to be scored, because this gives you the upper hand. And the requirements for your band score. So depending on the test that you take and the band score that you need to achieve, you need to know what you need to do in order to reach that band score, right? And that's why it's so important to know how it is scored. And of course, engaging in the services of a teacher is going to be really important, and I'm going to elaborate more about this. Practice tests. Now, many students are that are going to take the IELTS test consider doing tons of practice tests, and that's all fine and well. But there is jeopardy to that, and that is doing many practice tests without receiving any feedback can lead to you getting the same band scores all the time. So let's say, for example, you want to reach, or you need to reach a band 7, and you keep getting band 6 all the time. So you could do 1,001 practice tests and get the same band score. The reason that's happening is because you're not you're not isolating your weaknesses, and you continue to make the same mistakes. And so it's really, really important to be able to get some professional feedback so that you can develop. So the practice tests are available online. So you can do reading and listening online and get immediate assessment. And the writing and speaking are also available online, but you're not going to get assessment or feedback. You're going to have to do the test on your own and then maybe compare it to a model answer, for example, to see how you fared. For this particular reason, it's really important to be able to lean on a professional teacher. Now, you don't develop to practice, you practice to develop. So it's important to have a plan, a goal, so that you know how you need to move, in which direction you need to move in order to improve. Again, it's going to be a little bit lonely to do the preparation on your own, because sometimes you'll come to a point where you don't know where you're going wrong and you just need to be told this is what you need to do to improve. And that's why it's important to do the practice, to develop, and try to get some professional feedback. Then you want to do a mock test. Important, be prepared. The test is 2 hours and 40 minutes without the speaking, and it's done all in one go. There are no breaks. You need to be prepared to do that. So it's important to take a mock examination. A study schedule is highly recommended because you really do need to dedicate time to study and prepare. Time management. Don't underestimate the time allocated for each test. It is highly recommended that you start to practice doing the test within the allocated time. This is actually really, really challenging for non-native and native speakers alike, and not to be underestimated. And lastly, you want to cultivate a robust bank of ideas and vocabulary across many different topics, whether you're a native speaker or not. The reason why is the topics are not, they're not technical topics, but they might be a little out there. They're topics that you might not have heard of before, and you need to be able to either speak about them, understand them in listening and reading, and write about them as well. So, highly recommended that you look at using different podcasts, series, looking at National Geographic, documentaries, listening to BBC or ABC, which is the Australian broadcaster, so that you can start creating your bank of ideas for different topics. And international accents. So most of the accents that you're going to hear are British accents, different English accents, as well as Australian. But it is also possible to hear other accents as well, like American or South African, for example. So by using different media to cultivate your bank of ideas, you're also going to automatically engage in listening to and exposing yourself to the different accents. And that is what you need to do to prepare for the preparation for IELTS.